Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
All right, we are back. This is game number 2 now between No Earthspirit and Isurus Gaming, sponsored by HyperX. And yeah, well, it was a pretty dominating performance coming out from No Earthspirit, you could say. And well, we're going to see if Isurus Gaming can shake it off and hope to come back for game number 2. And coming back with me for game number 2, it is Mason, not EG's Mason, not Nine Tentacle Hentai Special Surprise Mason. This is simple Mason, White Elephant Hills from our very own highground.tv, Gnome Face. How you doing?
Yeah, I've got no tentacle surprises for you today. Sorry, buddy. Maybe tomorrow.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's probably for the better. That boy has a sailor mouth, so it probably would be for the better that you step in as a caster instead and represent the Mason name well through that front. But here we are. Draft is underway very early, but no surprises. Invoker and Lycan banned out first and second. And I know we're not surprised by this, but of the big 3, you'd say, Mason, between Invoker, actually let's say big 4. Invoker, Lycan, Ember Spirit, and Naga, let's say. Which of the 4 do you think, if you were on a team as a captain, you're like, I got to get rid of that hero. It's just too much of a problem.
I would argue that Ember Spirit is not so much in the big 4 anymore, just because... same with Naga, actually. If I had to choose my big 4, I think it would be Lycan, Invoker, Centaur, and Batrider. I think those are like...
Batrider,
I think those are the big ones. I mean, Batrider has gone up to 100% pick ban in...
I'm glad you pointed that out, yeah.
In the... I believe it's the NA qualifiers for the summit. He was 100% pick ban. Like, he's really seen a resurgence just because the aggressive teamfight combos have become more prevalent. And, you know, you can stick him in an off lane, you can stick him in the jungle, and with that quick blink dagger, even with the nerfed lasso range from a couple patches back, he's still a serious force to be reckoned with.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you would think after the nerfs that have come his way that finally he would not be able to make his way up to the platinum tier, but it does not matter. You may nerf his damage and then nerf his mid game. He'll just find his place in the off lane, and you may even try to nerf his ultimate and make the mana cost a lot more, but it doesn't matter. This man picks up a 4 staff, he'll still have plenty of mana to work with. His focus is on just staying put, preferably in the off lane, though we have seen him still pay a visit to the mid lane if the matchup does permit it. But the objective is get that farm. If you can get a kill on a melee hero, why not, right? Make life difficult for what might be the tri-lane you're going against, but more importantly, build up that blink dagger so then you can be a real problem. Then be able to blink in, get the lockdowns, even going through BKB. It's just such a pain in the ass. So a lot of teams are like, if we're not going to be able to get the Batrider on our side, then we're going to have to ban him outright. And, well, for Isurus, their prime and first pickup is going to be the Naga. And, I mean, I can't help but feel like, Mason, this is an immediate resident sleeper moment for me. Just a bit of a snooze hero.
See, it's funny because I remember back at TI2 when, you know, Morphling Naga was just the only thing that was ever picked forever. And it was really a snooze fest some games. But I've actually come to enjoy watching Morphling and Naga play because there's a lot of intricacies with the hero, and honestly, call me a fanboy, I'm still not Greg. I think RTZ is one of the reasons that I personally enjoy watching Naga play now, because he's proven how much you can do with the hero outside of, okay, everybody go to bed for a bit while we reposition ourselves in a team fight. Yeah. There's so much you can do with illusion tricks and farming in the mid lane and those different matchups that it's more interesting to me now, although there are still Naga games that are just like, oh my god, I'd rather kill myself than watch this.
It's just, for me, like the recent pinnacle point where I'm like, wow, Naga is going to be something special once again was when Miracle was playing it and had that dramatic comeback with Naga Siren, just controlling all the lanes in his own right with the help of the Radiance and all of that wealth of damage coming away, the heart and what have you, just making it so difficult to even be able to take down all those illusions. It was just such shit, and they couldn't get anywhere, get anything done, and he just pulled the game back pretty much on his own. And at that point, we then saw other people begin to pick up the Naga and really begin to cherish her in that new kind of position. But, you know, I've also seen the Naga still make a return to the supporting role. I've seen teams grab up the Naga because they just don't want to hand it over to the opposing team. They hold her early, kind of see where the draft's going to go, and then they can make the audible to switch her over to a different role. I mean, if she's put up against maybe like a Bat Rider, she can still do a great job as a support. The Ensnare helps out. Obviously, the Song is the big one. It can really prevent and just really put a kick in the balls to what kind of initiation is going to be coming their way. But in this case, with a Dazzle by her side, I don't know. I don't know really what can happen just yet. I haven't seen fullback play any sort of Naga Siren, at least that I can recently recall, but who knows? This kid might be fantastic with the hero.
5 seconds.
Because of the way that they picked up the Dazzle immediately after, I would venture a guess that they're probably envisioning support Naga to start. Although obviously it's very easy to just transition into a carry and pick something else as a support. But that heal bomb is just really strong for ganking. It's interesting how Naga has gone back and forth between support carry, just depending on what the meta is. More team fight heavy when stuff goes a little bit more late game and you have more time to farm because you have mids like Quaswex, Invokers, and Morphlings. You can stick her in a farming role and just make her absurd. When people need to fight a little bit faster, she provides really good pick-off because of net. Riptide still does a shitload of damage, and you still get the Song. So she's very versatile.
Couldn't agree more. We're moving on now to the next banning phase, and they ban out Disruptor and the Pugna here. And with the Disruptor ban, and it's not going against the Bat Rider, it leads me to believe that they might be considering going a mid lane or a core who could be very mobile. And with an Ember, nope, Ember was banned out. But Storm Spirit seems to be one of the first things that pop into my mind. I mean, it was used by Isurus in the previous game, but maybe Earthspirit might look to pick it up on their own right. It's just something I always go to. Disruptor in his own is already becoming one of the best pickups as far as support, especially against certain particular heroes like I mentioned, but his ultimate just does so much work. The kinetic field, he has such great crowd control and such great lockdown, and with the help of the Glimpse, which is just absurd. The range is so big on Glimpse. I mean, it's like 1800 range. You can glimpse people out of other games. It's a joke I always say, but I mean, it's just true. I play the hero so much. You could set things up so easily, and well, now we're leading to believe this Naga will not be of the support kind. With the Treant Protector pickup now, it's more very, very heavy defensive support, and we might be in for a long game. At least that's what Isurus are planning here. With Treant Protector, you're keeping the towers alive, you're prolonging things out, you're constantly helping out your cores from dying and getting caught out. They might look to try to take this one down the road, and with Earthspirit picking up that Lion once again, they might look to go more aggressive.
I'm pretty sure that if you go to the dictionary, the Dota dictionary, and look up the definition of unkillable tri-lane, you see Naga Dazzle Treant. I'm pretty sure that you can't kill that. I don't think it's physically possible. I do really like the Gyrocopter pickup here because he can go late, and he's really good against illusion-based carries because of Flat Cannon, but Call Down does so much damage in the mid-game and Rocket Barrage that he can still be a presence without necessarily needing a ton of farm.
No, I agree as well, and we can't count out the fact that this could also possibly be a mid lane Naga. I'm not sure DDX and his gaming history here. I'm actually at the same moment trying to look up their Dat Dota. We don't have the luxury of a statsman to kind of help me out with this one, but just looking through real quickly here, their recent pickups, especially as of recent 6.81, I'm not really seeing Naga picked up at all. This looks to be their debut of the Naga pickup, at least in 6.81, so no real history for them actually. So it's always hard to get kind of that new information. The meta is changing. A lot of people are still holding on to old tried and true, but some people are starting to make a reappearance, and Gyrocopter is one of those heroes. He got a nice buff on his rocket, and I'd actually been toying with the idea of playing the rocket or the Gyrocopter as a support, just because if you max out the barrage and rocket, you can make a lot of plays happen and be aggressive. This could still obviously be a core Gyrocopter, but who knows, right?
Go back to the return of the Ake-copter.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I love Ake on the Gyrocopter. I think he puts in a lot of work, and I'm surprised they don't take advantage of it more often with his recent buff. But we'll see. Maybe they're holding it as a back pocket strat for when they get to the big time.
What's really interesting about Gyrocopter is he can do really well against a solo off lane as a farming safe lane, and max homing missile. I think that another team did it in the ADL, but you can literally just win a one-on-one by going rocket barrage homing missile, because you just force them out of the lane, and if they eat it, they're just going to get rocket barrage to death. Granted, it's not the best mid-game build because you don't have flat cannon, but he can win a lane pretty easily.
The buff was being, I know for me, it was the now 5 hits to destroy. That's just ridiculous. That takes a lot of commitment from your whole team just to stop a rocket from coming in, and at full damage, it's just it's a big hit coming your way. And if he maxes it out real quick, it's gonna be a lot of damage coming. That's very unpreventable. But luckily, they have a nice set of supports here that can add a little bit of extra health and just kind of help out their allies in need. And wow, no Earthspirit picking up Mr. Tony. The tiny,
this is really interesting.
With no Wisp. Yeah, it's been done. It's been done plenty of time. The big game where Snob beat out Liquid, they did it without a Wisp. But now side by side with a gyrocopter. I mean, I don't who is mid in this lineup right now? Tiny mid, maybe.
Tiny mid is what I'm led to believe, but I think gyrocopter fares better against the Dragon Knight. Because I was confused about them banning out the Magnus, because I thought that Magnus would be a very, very strong mid. He can survive against Dragon Knight's Breathe Fire while throwing out Shockwave of his own, and makes their Wombo combo super strong. I'm honestly not sure who will go mid. I think it'll be Gyrocopter, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tiny as well.
They have to expect, and now it's confirmed as DDX picks up the Dragon Knight, they had to expect that he will be the one to go to the mid lane and just kind of see fit on who would be the best matchup. And you might have called it just right. Relic's picked up the Gyrocopter, though he does also venture in the side lanes. We saw it last game. Noah Spirit clearly showed that they have enough talent in their team they can kind of shift roles around a bit and change up the lanes on the fly, which I think is great for a lot of teams. Some teams, they're like, we have a set structure on where our players need to be and what roles they do to make things very constant, and they just know and do their job perfectly. And other teams like to change things up, which can work. It can play mind games in the drafting game and just kind of lead teams to believe that they're going to have the lane situation all set up, but then they come to a lane and find out that they're very, very mistaken. That happened last game, too. If you remember, right at the very start, we saw that long shift of the supports making the run all the way from the bottom on Isurus all the way up to the top because they were not expecting that Invoker Lion lane. So Banner Spirit really like to change things up a lot, so it's anyone's game, and we'll see what happens. And now
yeah,
Bricks
they actually
just
just swapped it again.
So they're swapping it all over the place, point be had. But as we jump into the game now, I'll go ahead and start the introductions off, I guess you will. And I'll go right back to Banner Spirit here. And in the top lane, as we get that typical obligatory pause right at the start of the game, it's going to be Bricks playing your Gyrocopter. He looks to head to the safe lane. He's going to be accompanied by now Evan playing the Lion. So they're going to change things around. Goody's not going to make a reprieve, if you will, on the roll. Relic is going to be manned up on the Tony in the mid lane. Just in front of him, we got Goody, who's the local support Sand King. He's hiding behind this tower, making things very difficult for me to find him. And along the bottom, it's going to be Half-Fried Egg Roll on the Centaur. And Half-Fried Egg Roll has played Centaur many times. I just feel like I always see him playing this goddamn hero. I'll let you introduce Isurus, but I'm very curious to find that stat as well as how many times he's played that freaking
Yeah, he's a very, very solid Centaur player. On Isurus, we have fullback playing the Carry Naga Siren, which is, I believe, a new one for him, according to Dota. Nadara on the support tree and protector, followed by Papita on the Dazzle. We have DDX in his mid lane role, picking up the Dragon Knight this game, and we have Zero on the off lane Timbersaw.
Yep. Pretty standard kind of draft. Holy crap, my showcase mode just went up into helicopter view. I got a nice sky cam happening here of Rodolfo playing your Timbersaw, but yeah, their lanes seem a lot more typical to come, especially with the DK pickup. It kind of shows that they are thinking of migrating the Naga off to the safe lane. So Banner Spirit know this is coming, and they probably made appropriate shifts on what they're going to go against. And a Tiny versus DK matchup in the mid lane. Any favorites you have right off the bat? I'm
kind of wondering if this is going to be a dual mid lane, because it looks like Dazzle wants to go mid with Dragon Knight just the way he's walking right now. Granted, he might just be handing him the ward, but a dual lane mid between Dragon Knight and Dazzle is, again, very, very difficult to kill, and it also provides a little bit more nuke damage against something like a Tiny. And it looks like Goody might be hanging out mid as well. He's got boots first, so him and Evan are definitely looking to gank early and gank often. I mean, one of the biggest issues with Sand King in the early game is the really low range on Burrow Strike, but with boots against heroes with no boots so early, it's very easy to get close enough to stun.
And now the game will get underway, and if you have any comments or questions, especially about the camera work, I am your cameraman for this evening, so please file them over at Coddle Guy at Twitter. But more importantly, if you want to be able to control the camera yourself, why don't you go ahead and get a ticket, $3.99. You can get this sweet black monolith HUD, chocolate style, if you will, and just kind of control the camera in your own right, or maybe follow your favorite player. I know there's a lot of Argentinian fans in the house, so hola. I don't know, but thanks for coming out and hanging, and we'll see how things go. Now that the lanes are going to be situated here, it is going to be Timbersaw going against the Lion, who will be babysitting out alongside Goody, the Gyrocopter Bricks. Dazzle looking to guard things out on the top and scout to see if there's going to be a rune nearby. No aggressive plays coming out from either team just yet. Sometimes we get to see the likes of maybe North American Rejects, who constantly from time and time will do the full 5-man shuffle into the opposing enemy jungles. And I always like that kind of a tactic because you're picking up a lot of information early as far as what the lanes might be, and if you just so happen to catch someone out, you're going to get a quick and easy first blood.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the 5-man run at their jungle strategy. So it is going to be a dual mid lane here, and it looks like Goody is going to hang around. This makes Timbersaw's life a lot easier in the off lane.
We were expecting that. South American Dota, another pause will fly out, unfortunately, and the nice dude coming out from Half Fried Egg Roll, who will be opposing Fullback, who's got a nearby babysitter in the tree, which is good to have, so he should be sitting pretty at the start. In the meantime, we'll have to be cautious not to get reckless in trying to take down the Centaur. Centaur didn't even level up or turn yet. He might feel like he might not be under too much pressure and save his stat point for something else. Nope, goes right for the return. Makes me look like a fool. It's all good.
I'm not sure if Nadara can win this man fight. It's going to be kind of close. He does hit really hard, but return is pretty nasty.
Tree is ridiculous. He hits so hard, and with the help of Leech Seed, I don't think the return's really going to matter too much, so he's just going to go ahead and pummel him down. And I was expecting him not to take too much punishment, and I would figure that Tree would try to keep more eyes along the map, but he's going to town right away and flexing his tree leafy muscles here, and as he looks to clarity up, he's going to try to zone out the Centaur, which is always the best thing you can do when you go against the Centaur in the soft lane.
Yeah, the easiest way to do it is just punch him. Like, he doesn't have a huge amount of armor early game, only 3. His health is still really high, though.
Hold that thought for a moment to make it go on the top lane. This should be first blood. Timbersaw, no! Almost gets away with the Timber Chain, but the lingering right click will fly through, and they manage to catch out the machine. Quickly makes his return to the top lane, but has to hand over that gold and spend the ticket on the TP just to get back here. So, bit of a rough start for him. He's already being zoned out, and with this extra CC and all this extra disable he's going against, he's going to have a much harder time than Centaur is just getting punched by the tree.
Yeah, he's going to have a very difficult time in this top lane here. He's got to play pretty carefully. Once he gets to a couple higher levels in Timber Chain, he'll be able to run away more easily, but it's a lot easier to run away from a tree that's going to lumber at you and punch you in the face than us yanking our line that can stun you from a distance. And it looks like, yeah, they're just going to pick up the rune. However, Tiny's having a really bad time mid.
No, he is. Relic is definitely just trying to look to survive in the meantime. They're not going to commit for a full rotation over. Actually, Goody, I guess after picking up the double damage, feels like they might be able to get something done, but they're going to have Relic try to heal up as quick as possible. And with the help of this bottle here, he will be able to bottle up and have enough mana to do the combo, the big infamous 240 mana combo. It's something I always will stick in my head as a Tiny player, but there goes the toss.
Gosh.
Burrow Strike will whiff! Oh no! Poor Goody will have to pull back and have to make a long walk of shame already back to his lane.
What the hell just happened with that Burrow Strike?
Yeah, a bit of a misclick there, unfortunately, or maybe just saw something he didn't like and didn't want to commit for something, but I'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But for now, poor Relic, after it didn't go so well, will have to eat further punishment from Pepita, just trying to zone him out with the help of that Poison Touch, which he continues to level up. No Grave for Dazzle, so if there is a gank coming the way, and they try to take out the Dazzle maybe and pick him off, he won't have a Grave to fall back on. But for now, though, Banner Spirit are just going to commit to their side lanes. Goody, making a long rotation, though, through the river. Might look to maybe make something happen again on Zerto.
Yeah, Zerto's playing pretty far up and seeing he's going to get the stun.
Right from behind. Black Cannon triggered. They're letting it fly here, but big damage coming up, but the Timber Chain will miss, and now he's stuck going up to the north, forced to run through a bit of enemy territory here. Ooh, but they have to be cautious. If he's able to get both skills off, he can burst pretty hard. And he runs back on through and unfortunately doesn't find a good position. Instead, just gets immediately ripped apart as the Rocket Barrage just going to town multiple times on him. And that's another time that this Timbersaw hands himself over, clearly losing the offlane. So Centaur got to be feeling pretty confident right now. He actually has only 3 CS, but at least he hasn't died twice.
That was pretty unlucky for Brix. The creep wave ate the majority of his rocket barrage the first time through, so that would have been a much easier kill. But and the creeps camped off to the side there, not so much to eat, and he was able to take him down without too much effort. But he almost got a kill on the Sand King, which would have been a really nice return for his own life.
And it looks like we're going to fall into another pause. Unfortunately, ping issues. This just happens. There's been shout-outs on Reddit from the South American community that they need a new server and they need something set up to help out. I agree. I think they do. There's a lot of talent happening. Isurus, CMB, obviously Revenge and stuff. It makes things harder for them when they come into these American tournaments and they have to go US East every time, and now they're playing with a bit of a handicap, having to go into it with 200, 300 ping, and obviously sometimes jumping up to much worse than that. And you really want to see how talented these players are when they're not hindered like that. You want to see them at their true full potential, and sometimes we see it, and sometimes tournaments will split things up and go into a Brazilian server, and then the other team is hindered. So come on, guys, we should rally up the support and see if Valve can kind of help them out, help everyone out, and we can get a nice, strong server for everyone to be able to play on.
Just stick a server in like the middle of the Caribbean Ocean.
Yeah, people have said like South Florida or just Mexico or something, but anything would be better.
Stick it in Cuba. Nice central location. I'm sure they won't mind.
America is pretty tall, just in both north and south. Like, you're talking like a tremendous amount of space between these servers, and I can just imagine the ping is pretty ridiculous. And you don't want to be giving anything away at this point in the ADL. You know, when you're got a fair record and you're trying to get some kills, so you're not immediately taken out. You know, this ping matters. So it sucks that we have to deal with a lot of these pauses, but to these players, you know, this is what they have to put up with, and they have to wait for the right opportunity to have decent ping and try to get fights going. So, well, we'll see. And I was a bit bummed out. I don't know how you felt. I was really bummed that Revenge had pulled out, because that was pretty much the only hope for a Southern American team to make their way to the International. Though there still is obviously Isurus and CMB in the qualifier, but we'll have to wait and see how they can do.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with that. It's a shame that those roster change rules are kind of in effect, though it's understandable why. Evo has been playing with them for about a month at this point, so he was really solid, and it's just unfortunate that they weren't able to officially confirm it before the invites actually happened.
Yeah, it seemed pretty late, but who are we to really judge Valve? They've only graced us with this game to play. So
well, what do you think about it? Should teams be
is.
allowed to go into the DI qualifiers with sort of like a couple like official stand-ins just in case, or should it just be 5 and that's what you get, and if you change your team then you're screwed? What do you think?
I think that they should be able to have a swing or a 6-player or something going into it. I mean, it can't change from time to time, but I've read that
Bottom lane.
A lot of other players think that. But, oh, they're making it go on bottom lane. I'm going to catch the back end of it. Centaur's in a world of hurt right here. Will end up falling to the Riptide. Fullback patiently waiting for the right time to get a good ping and manages to make it pay off as they catch out the Centaur. And I was just, you know, praising him for not having to feed over a couple of kills, but ultimately hands one over to probably the worst person you can in the map, the Naga Siren. Now moving quicker. This Naga is almost working towards 2K. Might be looking to go right into that Radiance quickly. And as far as Radiances go, the standard is 14 minutes if you're someone like Arteezy. And then maybe up to like 18 minutes, then you're doing pretty good.
It's kind of interesting. She actually decided to pick up the Aquila. She had really good farm, and I think going straight into a Radiance would have been okay, but this could be a more early fighting Naga, going something like Aquila phase drums and wanting to fight in the mid game, because, and it honestly wouldn't be bad, because she probably knows that she can't really man fight a Gyro late game when he can get something like a casual Rapier and she can't.
I don't really hate on the Aquila too much. I mean, yeah, I understand she was getting a lot of farm, and maybe she could turn it into a Radiance, but if something was to happen, she's not level 6 yet, so she can't just easily make her escape, but if something was to happen, it would be pretty tricky for her to get away. But now with the Aquila, she gets so much additional armor, even extra damage and what have you, and now getting ready to approach level 6, it's gonna start to be really tricky for Band Earth to try to take down fullback on this Naga, but they can't ignore her at the same time. She can get out of control real quick.
That's very true, and you're right. I guess if Arteezy goes Aquila, who am I to question it?
I am just but an easily mid to low tier player. Talking about myself at least. I don't even know how I get away with some of the judgmental actions I make on these players, but it is what it is.
Fake it till you make it.
That's why when I'm happy, that's why I'm so happy when someone plays Coddle and I'm like, this is a hero I know. Okay, I know this hero.
I have to,
or even a disruptor.
I have to say, dude, the Coddle Aghanims, though it may not be professionally viable, then again, tell that to Team DK, it is a nightmare in pubs.
Oh, it is, but they're making it go, and unfortunately, Dragon Knight lives his own nightmare out as he gets ripped apart in the mid lane from the help of a toss-in coming out from Relic. Nice, clever play. They get it done. They push ahead now, 3-2, your new score. But yeah, I agree with that, man. Coddle Ags is awesome. I've had plenty of times when I've been able to farm it up myself. But the question is, and especially in a competitive scene, is getting that farm. And if you're getting that farm, you could potentially be taking it away from someone else on your team who really needs it. And then you kind of question, is it really worth it? Now, Coddle, still extremely situational. Rarely going to see him picked up. But if in the right team setting, you know, it can work nicely. And if you, later on the road, have the luxury to pick up the Agnums, then it just makes things a lot better and easier and more viable for a Coddle, even in the late game. But enough about Coddle ranting. But if you want to give one more note on it, go ahead.
No, I'm actually just looking at the top lane right now, and I'm kind of wondering why Brix's CS is as low as it is. He has the kill. He's had pretty much free farm. Like, Timbersaw is not going to give you that hard of a time, but he's like a full 10 to 15 CS this entire time behind the Naga, and I feel like he should be doing a little bit better than that.
Luckily, he also has that kill, so he's not too far back, but yeah, I agree. He could step it up a little bit further. I think Timbersaw's starting to feel that it's just more of a one-on-one matchup for the meantime and trying to harass him out a little bit, as clearly you can see Evan on the sidelines kind of pulling out, getting the creep equilibrium back in their favor and under the tower so they get some good reliable farm, and just taking more away from this Timbersaw, who's still yet to try to get this Arcane's boot. He's pretty far off. Hopefully by now a lot of Timbers would already have the Arcanes underway and feel more free to kind of spam out all that damage, and we might see that come into play later. Timbersaw against the Centaur is no joke. It's a lot of heavy pure damage, especially on the big bad Centaur.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's definitely feeling more confident in this lane despite his 2 deaths, choosing to go with a second level in Whirling Death rather than the second level in Reactive Armor that we tend to see when the lane isn't going so well. It just provides you with that much more survivability, but as the supports begin to roam a little bit more, he feels a bit more confident in playing aggressively against this Gyro. Even with just 2 levels in each, and now he's got Chakram, he could solo kill him if he had the opportunity.
We got a nice 3-man gathering and a dragon form popped, even with the illusion and the illusions from the Naga. Already a nice little army built up here as they're going to look to push down the tier 1. And, well, it looks like no one's going to bother making a rotation over. Global Calls are making a run. Yep, top lane. Zerto is going to be caught out very easily. And that global presence and offering from Centaur makes things so much better. They will end up losing the tier 1 in the bottom lane. Naga will not pick up the last hit, but regardless, still a lot of extra farm coming her way, and we once were, you know, questioning the quick Aquila pickup, but now already above 3k gold, Mason, towards this Radiance, on par for a really good time.
That early tower really helps, and honestly, Aquila is really good for taking early towers. I don't remember who said it, but it was something to the effect of Aquila is the item that you buy when you want to take the first tower of the game. And with a team like this, when you have a Dragon Knight to back you up and a Dazzle for heal bombs, the towers are good. You want to get that advantage as quickly as you can, especially before Tiny starts swinging a stick.
Yep, and we'll see how long it takes before Relic wants to get that Agnum Scepter. We've seen previously that they kind of want to go with more of the drums build first, a little more momentum, a little more durability, doesn't hurt, and for now he's taking a bit of punishment here. DDX will try to scare him out of the lane and find his own CS again after he had recently fallen in the mid lane, but for now, Relic, he's sitting on a good amount of farm.
I think he's going
I
Midas.
wonder if he's considering, yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if he's considering just going right for the Midas. It would help out, and Tiny's got to be one of the best now in the game as far as late game potential, as long as he gets all the appropriate items. The AC, obviously the Agnums, and whatever else he wants to build into. We've seen build into Manta. He's going to be really hard to shut down and prevent him from just ripping apart your base, but in the meantime, Relic is finding the farm he needs in this early game.
That good old 10-minute comeback Midas, although not so much comeback here, but it's good. It provides him with attack speed that he desperately needs as well, which is a nice little bonus, although obviously you get it for the money. The attack speed is a good little bonus, and getting him good farm, getting him maybe a quick drums into an Aghanims, or like you said, maybe a drums into Yasha to Manta or something like that, just makes him a lot more of a presence, aside from just this combo.
Meanwhile...
Oh, this courier. Where's this courier going?
too sure.
Radiant
It's
turret.
hanging around
Oh
mid
my
lane,
God.
and it's a free feed over.
Dire's
Whatever
bottom
video
tower is
games
under
has received a prize, but
That has
Also-
Relic on it.
I don't know. Banner. That was careless. Naga is even a little flustered. What happened there? Oh, they are drawing over the map. They know they fucked up. They know they. I was even like, what the hell's happening right now? Courier well beyond and near the tower. Unfortunately, they do feed it over. Here's a sleep defensively, and they will pull back. And before all that had happened, they were trying to get a pick off on Centaur. Couldn't quite get it down. Naga didn't quite have enough mana to stop his ultimate with the help of her song. And they stepped back, and obviously they were pretty obligated with something else to not consider the courier handing over the sacred relic.
Oh my
well.
gosh, that is such an enormous mistake.
It's okay. She can hold it out. Just continue to farm on, build up the recipe in the meantime, which I'm sure she'll have before the courier even comes back to life. So then she could start to really spread the farm. I mean, she's getting a lot of it now, but things only go over by tenfold. And mid lane relic getting shooed back here. Oh, Dragon Knight. No dragon form to use. Can't quite get in range of the dragon tail, and not considering popping it just yet to make a go on the tier 1, but that could be a mistake. There's a couple of supports here nearby for Earthspirit, and now they're going to scout out, and they will see that this DD rune is bottom, and they're going to contest it. They jump over, catch out DDX. DDX caught down Finger. They're trying to burst him down, but the Shalgrave from the high ground coming out from Pepita will be able to save him in the meantime. Meanwhile, Tiny does get that DD. And when all is said and done, a bit of a Rune Wars gang fight. But mid lane, here comes Zudo, trying to make something happen on Goody. Goody makes a run back, no more mana to work with, and will be able to step away. And Dragon Knight did end up falling, actually. I didn't actually catch when he actually fell, but it looks like he got caught out when he made his run
Sinking
back.
Blink bird him. Yeah, both Goody and Half Right Eggroll have Blink daggers now. Goodbye, fullback.
Radiant structures are
Oh my god, I am all over the place. Fullback gets caught out in the jungle and will end up falling, so... Apologies on the crazy-ass camera. Everything is going all over the place. Now top lane, Overgrowth to fly out on Brix. Brix throws out
Radiant's middle
a
tower
desperate
is
attempt
under
at trying to
attack.
make something happen, but ends up falling in the end, and Isurus do finally get a pick off for themselves. 6-3, though, your score. If we look over the
Radiant's
gold
bottom
graph,
tower is under
Earthspirit
attack.
do have control. Not by a whole lot, only 1,500 gold lead for them, but they're happy to take that for now because they have yet to even take down a tower, while Isurus already have one tower. So they're doing pretty good considering they have a lot of towers still to take down, and, well, rotations to come as they try to make something happen on the mid lane, but
Dire's top
Zudo.
tower is under attack.
or Zerdo. I could call him Zudo. Zerdo. Now with the Arcane Boots acquired, we'll probably look to build into the Bloodstone to just have that extra bit of hefty tankiness and mana regen, obviously, but let's see if he can try to turn it up a notch here.
Yeah, absolutely. And though the gold is pretty close, Bannerth has about a 5k experience lead, and that's pretty important. It's this Midas running on Tiny. However, Naga is going to have her Radiance up pretty much now. She needs about 100 more gold or so for the recipe, so it's still going to be like 14.5 minute Radiance. But that kill hurt her farm
Really
a little
good.
bit, and obviously the courier dying.
Yep, but she's still getting a Radiance at a pretty solid time, so this is looking really good for them. Earthspirit need to start getting something going, and they do. Mid lane, I miss it once again. I'm on fire with this one, baby, but they do manage to quickly rip apart and take down Pepita on the Dazzle, and Centaur will be the one to pick it up, and I think they're onto something here. They ping out, and considering making a move to the jungle, they're not going to use a smoke for this. They see a regen rune, which Relic will pick up for himself, but look at this. They still already know. Naga, pop the song, woman! Nope, gets caught out with the Hest. They're going to lock her down and take her down, and she cannot get the Radiance yet. Oh, if he got that courier, that would have been very, very bad. But now Evan on the run. The Leech Seed will slow him down, but I think he'll be fine. They have Global just in case. There goes Overgrowth. He's going to go for a TP here. Can the Dragon Tail make it? No, it can't make it in time. The Breath of Fire was not enough to burst him down, and they will make their escape after a quick assassination on the Naga. Meanwhile, they make a jump into the mid lane and quickly rip apart Dazzle once again. Back-to-back times they take him down in the mid lane. Here comes a TP rotation. Zerdo shows up, lays out a bit of harassment, but can't really stop Relic from making his lead.
These quick blink daggers on Centaur and on Sand King are just proving very difficult for Isurus to deal with, just like that, over and over and over.
Yep. And there's a grade A example of it going to town once again, and Zerdo does fall. Mid is not safe. The high ground is covered. Goody just doing work with the strong initiation, and I'm hearing a call down go off. What the hell is happening here? He's just using it on a nice set of stacks here over in the jungle. But they're trying to find their farm here for Ban Earthspirit. I mean, they're finding the pickoffs they want. Their goal is to try to get this done. They have to try to take down these towers. They have to try to restrict the farm from the Naga. Not make her feel safe even venturing out into her own jungle. She has to be forced to be crippled back and use the illusions. If you're allowing her the free farm, she'll take it up. Now with the Radius on hand, it just gets very, very easy. So Ban Earthspirit have to keep the momentum going and not allow Isurus to get anything they want.
The thing is, it's going to take Naga a bit to farm up her next item, even with that Radiance, and by that time, Gyro's going to have his BKB in time, he's going to finish his Aghanims, and I just don't think they can fight them anymore. I think Ban Earth can just 5-man push down middle and not really care.
A lot gathered here for Isurus, feeling like Ban Earthspirit or feeling pressured to try to take down this tier 1, and meanwhile off on the side, we got Half-Fried Regol and Goody, both smoked up, making their own rotation to the mid lane, and with their blinks, they definitely have the initiation game on their side, and they're going to look to flank around from the backside. This could get ugly real quick for Isurus.
This could very well be a disaster.
Here we go. There goes the battle cry, the jump in, the stun on both. They're trying to burst down Pepita, and they will be able to do it. He can't even get the Grave off, and DK will fall as well. They make it look very easy as they clean house. Didn't even need really much of the help from the rest of the mid lane. I think the two of them could have got it all done, but they get it done regardless. They'll clear out the creep waves, and they'll try to take this tier 1 tower.
That was just very good initiation by the two of them. Those Blink Daggers just doing so much work, and this is going to be a free mid tower with a multi-kill going to Goody, actually.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gyrocopter picks up his BKB, so all the meanwhile, while the rest of his goons are getting everything done, he's finding all the farm he could want. Now building up a lot of extra survivability for himself. With the Helm of the Dominator, they have a shit ton of stacks happening over here on the side. Plenty of stacks to farm, and they'll make it look easy. And next thing you know, he's going to build into some heavy-hitting item. Could be an MKB, could be a Butterfly. Regardless, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and Half-Right Negral actually picks up a mech for his team, so their team fight is just even more absurd now. They can just heal up pretty much any damage, sort of burst damage that Isurus is going to do. And I just don't think Isurus has the damage right now. I mean, Timbersaw is still a serious factor, but with just a Radiance, Naga's not going to do that much. She needs, like, at least 1, maybe 2 more items. She needs, like, a Yasha plus drums on top of that.
I really like, though, they are still going for the mechanism. It's a very crucial item to have in this game, but they're getting it on the Centaur now allows Lion to just kind of get his Blink Dagger going, and they'll just have an insane amount of initiation, an insane amount of pickoffs, and they will begin to suffocate Isurus back, not let them linger out anywhere, because they will get quickly picked off, and they'll learn it the hard way. And bottom lane, Relic, what looks like it could be him solo pushing, as Isurus are rotating over, they might not know that the rest of Ban Earth are making the rotation through the woodwork. Oh, they might run over, though. Naga's here. She's way far back. The tower ends up going down, and there we go. DDX makes the go on Evan. Evan going to be bursted down, but he will live. Finger ends up flying out, and he's trying to put out all he can. Centaur tossed forward, and they do rip apart the DK. Now, Relic and company will be put to sleep as Naga will help his team retreat, but the long toss coming out from Centaur slept again, though. The timing wasn't quite there for him to get the hoof stomp off, and they will be able to step back. So a loss there for Isurus, not only losing the tower, but losing their precious DK. And now with all the momentum they want, Ban Earthspirit are going to look to push in this bottom lane and take the tier 2. And Tiny with that Aghanim Scepter, he cleans through towers very, very easily.
I mean, you saw what happened. Their biggest damage dealer, arguably right now, Timbersaw, went in on the Tiny and just kind of tickled him a little bit. Like, he got his full combo off, Chakram, Whirling Death, Timber Chained on through, and Relic's like, whatever.
Look at Relic hit. My god. He is holding a full-grown oak and beating the shit out of that tower. Gets it taken down. Bricks, though, the fortunate one to pick up the last hit and a lot of extra farm, which I'm sure they're happy with. As they make the rotation back to the mid lane, they don't want to hand anything over too easy, and they should be able to get the deny, and 2 quick swats they do. Nothing is easy for Isurus Gaming.
Yeah, solid deny, not letting the Naga get that extra tower gold is really important, especially when she can just kind of throw her illusions at it. They might get top lane, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think Ban Earth cares. I think they're just going to take a mid-tier, tier 2, and just run at the high ground.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah, no problem. They're happy to, like I said, remove all these towers, remove the potential for Naga to easily move out and try to find the farm, like she's doing here at the top lane. even DK by her side.
Radiant's middle
Both of them
tower
do
is under
have the
attack.
TPs in case things get a little too hairy back at headquarters, but regardless, they got to start finding the farm elsewhere because as these towers fall, it's going to become more and more tricky. And you got a lot of people on your team who need the farm. Zerto, though, gets caught out. Unfortunately, they make the jump in and rip him apart very easily. Nothing he could do about it. And now with the tier 2 taken down, Ban Earth are considering the idea of maybe pushing the high hill as they do have advantage in numbers. They pull out the mechanism, heal up, and already Relic going to town, eating a little bit of tower aggro though, has to try to fend it off, taking down to half-life actually, god damn it. They pull up the fortification, he steps back, and they will make their retreat, and maybe even step into the Roche Pit on the way out.
Yeah, I think the Roche Pit is definitely within their grasp here. Half-Red Eggerl just kind of pushed off Naga Siren on his own, he doesn't really care, and I'm not really sure Isurus can stop this Roche. I mean, Song is up, but I just don't think they can do anything about it.
That's if they even do go for it here, and Isurus, if they're even have an inkling that Roche might be happening, they might consider the all-or-nothing play of just trying to make a go there. I mean, they have Naga Sleep, so they could pull out something fancy. Now, just as I say that, they ping it out, they gather up in the mid lane, and they look to rotate forward. Now, Did he just popped his overgrowth, though?
Did he really?
Oh,
my.
no. Nadara misclicks. Luckily, it's a short cooldown, but it's not going to be short enough as they're already doing the Roche. It's down half-life, and now there's no overgrowth
Goody's
to be
gonna get
had,
cut
but
out,
they
though.
jump forward and said, yeah, Goody gets ripped apart on the side. Now, Ban Earth running back and forth, not really sure what to do. They throw out the call down to kind of set them back and make some space for themselves, but they pull all the way back over into their Ancient Pit side and look to make a wrong rotation up, and now Isurus wandering into the pit, scouting things out. They see it's below half-life here. Maybe they can quickly clean up this tier 2 tower, preventing Ban Earth from being able to TP to it. Just Goody down though. Naga's still here, has Sleep on hand. Tree's got 20 more seconds before he gets that overgrowth back. And now they're going to look to take the high hill and over. Bricks and Relic are nearby, but they will pull back in the meantime. So good move from Isurus Gaming to quickly be onto that and take a tier 2 at least and scare them out of the Roche.
Yeah, very well done. Losing Sand King there is basically, I mean, it's not all of their damage, but it's a lot of their initiation as well as a big chunk of damage from the epicenter. So losing him made them really not want to fight that. Fortunately, I don't think Isurus can go into the pit themselves, so they don't have to worry about losing Roche. But yeah, they get the tier 2 tower for free.
Dragon Knight using the invisibility rune to try to scout things out in the mid lane. Timbersaw potentially looking to bait something out, but he will actually be caught. And yeah, Shallow Grave though to save. Temporary. Timber chains away. And well, doesn't matter. Ends up still getting taken apart. DK wants none of it, makes his full rotation all the way to the top here. Doesn't have Dragon Form yet available, but trying to quickly clear out the creep wave alongside Naga and see if they can quickly take down this tier 2. And Ban Earth instead are going to make the rotation over to the Roche Pit and just quickly clean that up and grab a hold of that Aegis. And we'll see Isurus. After they take down this tower, maybe they linger with the idea of pushing forward? Nope. It doesn't seem that they quite know what's happening, and instead we'll just step back with that in the meantime.
Yeah, I think that trade is okay. Getting the Aegis up on Tiny is really important for team fights. And Naga's going to push, and it's just one of those things that you're going to lose your tier 2s eventually, and so you may as well get something in return if you're going to let it happen.
I didn't realize how quick this game had gotten out of hand at one point. I mean, the gold was near 15k advantage for Ban Earth at one point already, and now I would obviously bet that towards the early tower advantage and now picking up the Roche. And so Isurus definitely have their backs against the wall. You can never count on a team in the end that has a Naga. Naga now with Manta and Boots of Travel, quickly picking up a couple items for himself. Let's see if she builds into the Heart next and hopes to build up a little more durability not only on herself but her illusions. In the meantime, to make a jump on half-right A-roll, but DDZ does eat the Burrow Strike and the double edge. Tree steps in, throws out the overgrowth. Are they able to burst him down? Epicenter goes off. Shallow Grave, very nice, but DK might not be able to get away from this one. Call down to fly out. DK does fall alongside with the Timbersaw. Tree trying to make a run. Might not be able to get away. Trying to prolong his death at least. And it's not going to matter. 3 down all day. Only 2 to stand, including the Naga. Both of them quickly rotating up to the top, trying to pressure elsewhere and prevent Earthspirit to just quickly pushing down this.
Yeah, I mean, the items are coming out for Naga, but they're just not for anybody else. Dragon Knight's sitting on a naked Shadow Blade. He's got a piece of a BKB. Timbersaw has literal nothing. He's forced to go BKB just so he doesn't die in these fights. And in return, Tiny has a full Ags, AC done. Gyro just finished a butterfly on top of his BKB and helm.
Yeah. Grossly farmed. Grossly farmed. And what makes Gyrocopter so great in this particular matchup is the flat cannon just helps rip apart those illusions that Naga has. So, especially with all this extra damage, it's going to like she has nothing to work with. She's trying to pressure this top lane here, and it looks like Ban Earth aren't going to pull back just yet. But just as I say that, Goody's going to bite, jump in, burrow strike, and while I get caught up with that in the mid lane, they do manage to catch out the Dragon Knight as they lay their own assault on the mid lane. A tier 2, or tier 3 rather, under the gun. They forced to pull out the fortification. Naga makes her escape back to the base as the Racks are now exposed and taking heavy punishment here. Overgrowth to temporary stop them. There goes the song. This might be the last stand here for Isurus. They got to be able to defend this high hill. If they feed over a couple of kills, they might as well call it a night, at least as far as this series
there's no
goes.
follow-up to the song. Nobody's there to do any damage afterwards.
Yep. Nope. Timber's down, DK's down, no one really can lay out the damage. You just have Naga and 2 supports, so they have to hand it over. The Racks will fall. Only a couple more seconds for the rest of the team to get back, but Ban Earth feel pretty confident here. They're rolling all the way to the bottom lane, continuing to... Wow! Hit it! Even toss my ally. I don't even care. Oh, the tower is going to quickly be taken down. Living Armor's not going to be enough. There goes the call down, though. Tree trying to make something happen. DK's back, but DK's back down again. Quickly falls apart. Taken down, big epi coming up from Goody, cleans the rest of them up. Shallow Grave in the meantime on Dazzle, but it's not going to be for too long. Just long enough for him to say his prayers as he does end up falling. Second Rack's down. This is looking like another good game, and I think Isurus were just really hoping that they could prolong the game long enough for fullback to really be a problem on the Naga, but they couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent enough strategy, but Timbersaw wasn't there, and neither was Dragon Knight to carry them through the mid-game. I mean, Dragon Knight ended 0-7. If they had a better mid-game, been able to take more towers quicker, and just not flat-out die so much and create space for the Naga, it definitely could have gone on Isurus' favor, but Ban Earth just got so many more kills, so much more tower gold, and just ran away with it.
Quick props to Bruce Schwain for picking up your item there at the end for the victory, and, well, that's going to conclude this first series of Isurus vs. Ban Earth. Coming up next, I believe we got Isurus Gaming going to be going against Union Gaming, so a full Southern American flair. I'm sure no one in the chat's going to understand what the hell I'm saying, as I cannot understand what the hell you are saying, but hopefully we all just enjoy the Dota together and have a good time. So be sure to stick around. I'm going to throw it over to some jams. I'm Coddle Guy, by the way. You can catch me over on Twitter at Coddle Guy, and of course, joining me tonight is Mason, but the White Elephant Hills Mason. You can catch him over at WEH Dota, and we'll be sure to catch you
See
in
you
the
guys
next
then.
one.